Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Blazekiller, and today we are back with another video. In today's video, I am going to be showing y'all how to build a Pokeball in Lumber Tycoon 2. So, there's a whole bunch of Pokeball variants out there, but the basic one is really what I'm after for today. If you want to build the basic outline of the Pokeball and then kind of color it as you wish, you can obviously go for that. Here are your color options if you're curious, kind of what options you have available to you. We're going to be using three basic wood types, the first of which is walnut wood, which is going to be found over the bridge. I'll put a picture on the screen so you'll know what that looks like. It's not to be confused with this one, the elm, which is also over there. The second is going to be birchwood, which is right up there, the white wood right there. And the third and final is going to be the redwood, the firewood, the lava wood, right up there on the volcano, I'm sorry, right here. Now there are some other options, of course, as I mentioned here. Now you might see some other white options, like this might be an option, this, what else, maybe this, and those are definitely options, and that can provide you some shading, some tints and shades to your final build, and I'll show you all how to incorporate those if you so desire. But this is the easiest wood to obtain, the birchwood right here. These are much more difficult. The end times, palm wood, blue spruce. This is a limited time wood, so you can't even obtain this right now, at least, you know, without trading for it. So those are some other options for you. One more thing before we begin is that for the border of the actual shape itself, the darkest color in this wood is technically right here, the spookwood, but that's very difficult to obtain, so we're going to be kind of compromising here with the walnut wood. And there's no black wood, so we kind of have to make the most of the dark brown for the border of the Pokeball itself. So let's just jump straight into this. The three blueprints we'll be primarily using are the post, the small floor, and the tiny floor. There's a couple more you can use depending on what size hole you're trying to fill with a certain piece of wood. Like you might use a short smooth wall. It provides a little bit of a difference, but really that's the same as just two of these, so you kind of get the point. You can experiment as you wish and use whatever you want, but let's just follow what I'm doing right now with these three blueprints and you should be good. Okay, let's just jump straight into this. Technically not straight into this, I had quite a bit of an introduction there, but let's just start with the border of the Pokeball itself, which is just going to be the darkest color wood that we have, which is the walnut. And then we'll start on the lower half of the Pokeball, which is going to be our birchwood. Now, to prepare for this video, it didn't take me long at all to get all these types of woods. I mean, they were all really close to spawn. One's right there, the other is right there. You might even have some of these on your base as it is, so they shouldn't take you long to prep for the video. You can put a sawmill on 1x1 dimensions, and then you can kind of cut these as so. And if you have the building power of ease, that'll make the process a whole lot easier. Okay, so now you're going to grab yourself your post, and then we're going to be adding white on top of the border right here. Okay, and then grab yourself a small floor, and then build on top of these, and have all of this be white, the birchwood. Okay, now go in one more on each side with that birchwood. So right here in this divot is where the opening of the Pokeball is going to be. That little button you press, or I'm not really sure how a Pokeball works, but you know what I mean, the thing in the center of the Pokeball. And you can actually move that up one stud if you want, and I'll show you what I mean at the end of this to make it more symmetrical. But this is just what I'm going to be doing for this tutorial. This is the most common design that I was able to find, so we're just going to be sticking with this, okay? And then this is going to be the border right here. Okay, so now build one stud out on each of these sides, and grab your post. And let's make that vertical, and then we'll have it right on top of that little thing right there. This is going to save us a lot of wood by not using 4 1x1x1s, but instead just one of these. And then on top of that, I'm sorry, to the right and left, respectively, we're going to be having a piece of birchwood right there. Okay, so border color, birchwood. All right, now we're going to be filling all of this in on top of here with your border color, and then on top of that, this place right here is actually going to be a small floor filled with your birchwood, which is going to serve as that button, or again, I'm not really certain all the facts of the Pokeball, but it looks kind of like a button in the middle. Okay, with that, we're completely done with our white wood, and we're going to be essentially starting with the red section of the Pokeball after we finish up this outline of this this button right here. Oops. Okay, so have that all be your outline color, and then essentially start filling in things with red, and I'll cut to when I start doing that. All right, so the easiest way I could think of to fill this in, again, there's a whole bunch of options. You might want to consider using the small floor or even this thing right here, but the easiest way I could think of is just using these right here, the tiny floors, and then the posts on top of that, and then we will fill this space in also with our red, and then we'll have a little glare thing right here, and then I'll cut to when I start working on that. All right, I'm sorry about that. There's actually one change I'm going to make to that. I'm going to take out the post on the left side and then just fill 3 of these instead of 4 with the red wood, because right in here, this corner is where our glare thing is going to be, our little reflection in the Pokeball itself. At this point in the build, you might consider building something like a little scaffolding or a little ladder so you can reach things better. Assuming you're building it vertically like I am, you could totally build it flush with the ground if you like. But this is how I'm doing it. Okay, this little thing right here is going to be our glare. Now there's a couple ways you can build the reflection, the little glare. You don't have to include it at all. You can kind of include it like I am right now in this little cross shape. You can include it in the corner of the border itself, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But first, let's fill this in with our birchwood. Okay, grab yourself a post, and we will continue our red color here. We'll build one right here, and we'll build one on top of that one, and then we will build, let's see, I think that will work, and then we'll build one more on top of this itself, right on top of that cross, but we'll fill this in first to make that easier for ourselves. Okay, so add that last little piece right there, and then grab yourself your post again, and then right on top of the cross, just as so, build that, and then fill that in with redwood, and then we'll continue on our borders. All right, grab yourself a tiny floor, and let's continue on the borders, as so. If I can get this one in there, perfect. Okay, and then on top of that post we just did, we'll put another post, and that's going to be our border color. Let's fill that in, and then we'll finish off with this left side. All right, build yourself a tiny floor there and there, and then right, where is this here? Right here in this cross, as so, and then right here next to the cross, there, and that should finish up the red portion. There might be one more red portion I'm missing actually. Let's make one change here. I think for symmetry's sake we have to remove that, and then we should be good. Yeah, so let's delete this one, and then we'll finish off with the border color, and then that should be done. All right, I just finished off with those last 4 blueprints. You can kind of see where I put them right there, just making them even with the other side essentially. Nothing too complex. We'll fill that in, and then we will talk about how to make the shading on the white portion of the Pokeball. All right, there's our finished product. It's getting night, so I brought out this floodlight here, and we can kind of hopefully see a bit better. Now, assuming you built this with birchwood and not the technically whiter color of the frostwood, right? I'm not sorry, not the frostwood, the end times wood. You have a couple options here in terms of shading. You can use, again, the blue spruce, or you can use the palm wood. Okay, so if you were to add shading, there's a couple places you can add it. You can add it right here, and then I'm just going to essentially be using what I would use if I were shading it to save myself some space and blueprints, like there, and then you can also add some shading to this interior, like that. Okay, this one's out, but you kind of get where it's supposed to go. There we go. Okay, so it looks kind of gross now with all those blueprints, but that's where you would shade if you were interested in that. If you have those woods available to you, I would assume most of you probably don't, but there might be something you could do, so that's an option. And then in terms of that last thing, the glare in the top corner, it can just be something as simple as, a little smear, if you will, if you don't like the cross glare, or again, if you don't like the glare at all, you can just leave that out altogether. It can be something like that. Okay, so those are just a few options for you in terms of how to customize this very basic Pokeball shape. Again, you can make this completely different if you want to build a completely different Pokeball color altogether. One more thing, as I was mentioning earlier, if you want to make this completely symmetrical, what you would do is you would make this little square, you would build it one unit higher, and then essentially you would move these to make them flush with the actual the movement that you made. Okay, does that make sense? So like instead of having this red portion take up more space than this white portion, you can have them be equal by moving this whole thing right here up one, including these side pieces. Okay, and that would make that all flush with this and this. Hopefully that made sense. If it didn't, don't worry about it. It's just a really simple tutorial on how to build a Pokeball. If you have any more tutorials you are wanting to see in terms of pixel art or just in general, leave those in the comments below, and I will try to bring you some more tutorials like these in the future. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell for me so that you'll be notified whenever I do upload a new video. Without further ado, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in next week's video. Peace. Wait, can we get it? Out. There we go. Bye, guys.